The quantum drive hummed beneath Captain Aria Novak's feet as she stood at the helm of the Stellar Horizon, humanity's most advanced deep space vessel. The ship's bridge, with its seamless blend of holographic displays and traditional controls, represented everything humanity had achieved in the past century. Through the panoramic viewport, the endless canvas of space stretched before them, dotted with distant stars that beckoned with ancient light. "Quantum field stability at 98%, Captain," announced Lieutenant Raj Patel from his station, his dark eyes reflecting the soft blue glow of his console. "We're ready for the jump whenever you give the word." Aria brushed a strand of silver-streaked black hair from her face, her olive skin illuminated by the starlight. At 45, she'd earned every one of those silver strands through decades of pushing the boundaries of space exploration. "Status report from all stations before we attempt humanity's first quantum leap." One by one, her crew responded. Dr. Nikolai Volkov, their chief scientist, spoke last. "Captain, the quantum resonance chamber is primed. But I must again express my concerns about these signals we've been tracking. Their pattern defies every known natural phenomenon." Aria nodded, understanding his hesitation. For the past 3 months, their deep space arrays had detected bizarre quantum fluctuations emanating from a region 500 light-years from Earth. The signals appeared to follow mathematical sequences too precise to be natural, yet too alien to be human. "Noted, Doctor, but that's exactly why we're here." Aria took her command seat, feeling the familiar comfort of its ergonomic design. Humanity has wondered about our place in the universe for millennia. Today, we take another step toward answering that question. The bridge crew fell silent, each member acutely aware of the historic moment they were about to experience. The Stellar Horizon's quantum drive was theoretical until 6 months ago. A breakthrough that promised to revolutionize space travel by manipulating the fabric of space-time itself. "Initialize quantum field generation," Aria commanded. "Prepare for jump in 3, 2, 1. The universe seemed to fold around them. For a brief moment, reality itself appeared to stutter, like a skipped frame in an ancient video. Then everything snapped back into focus, and the star field before them had completely changed. "Position confirmed," Rage announced, his voice tight with excitement. "We've successfully traversed 500 light-years in less than a second." Before anyone could celebrate, Dr. Volkov's console erupted with alerts. "Captain, the signal source, it's less than 1,000,000 kilometers away." Aria leaned forward in her chair. On screen, the main viewport shifted, focusing on a point of space that seemed to shimmer with an otherworldly iridescence. As they watched, the shimmer coalesced into a form that left the entire bridge crew speechless. A ship materialized before them, but unlike anything human minds had conceived. It appeared to be composed of flowing light and shadow, its hull constantly shifting like liquid mercury, yet maintaining a perfect geometric precision. It was beautiful and terrifying in equal measure. "We're receiving a transmission," announced Communications Officer Jun Wei, her fingers dancing across her console. It's being translated in real time somehow." A voice filled the bridge, neither male nor female, yet carrying an unmistakable intelligence. "Greetings, travelers. We are the Zephyrians. We have been waiting for you to develop the ability to answer our call." Aria stood, her heart pounding but her voice steady. "This is Captain Aria Novak of the Earth vessel, Stellar Horizon. We come in peace and friendship." "As do we, Captain Novak. Your species' achievement of quantum travel marks you as ready for what comes next. There is much we must discuss, for the universe holds both wonders and dangers beyond your current understanding. As the Zephyrian ship drew closer, its surface rippling like cosmic waves, Aria couldn't shake the feeling that humanity had just crossed a threshold from which there would be no return. The crew watched in awe as a section of the alien vessel transformed, creating what appeared to be a docking interface perfectly compatible with their own ship's systems. "They want us to dock," Rage observed, checking his readings. "The interfaces, it's like they knew exactly how to connect with our technology." Dr. Volkov's scientific curiosity overcame his initial caution. "The level of technological advancement we're witnessing, it's beyond anything we theorized possible. Their mastery over matter itself." "Lieutenant Wei," Ariel addressed her communications officer, "inform Earth about our contact. Dr. Volkov, begin preliminary scans of their vessel. Lieutenant Petel, initiate docking procedures." She paused, taking in the historic moment. "It seems humanity's greatest adventure is about to begin." As the stellar horizon carefully maneuvered toward the Zephyrian ship, Aria noticed something unusual about the alien vessel's surface. Patterns of light danced across it in sequences that seemed almost familiar, like mathematics given physical form. But there was something else, a sense of urgency in the way the Zephyrians had greeted them, as if this meeting was more than mere first contact. The docking procedure began, and with it, humanity's first step into a much larger universe. What none of them knew yet was that this encounter would not only change the course of human history, but would also begin a journey that would take them to the very edge of existence itself. The familiar clank of docking clamps engaging echoed through the ship, bridging two civilizations separated by unfathomable distances of space and time. As Aria prepared to meet their mysterious hosts, she couldn't help but wonder what secrets, what wonders, and what dangers awaited them among the stars. The Zephyrian delegation that emerged through the airlock defied all human expectations. They moved like flowing mercury, their forms continuously shifting while maintaining humanoid shapes. The leader, who introduced himself as Theron, appeared as a being of swirling platinum and azure energies, with points of light where eyes might be on a human face. "Your journey here represents more than mere technological achievement." Theron's thoughts resonated directly in their minds, his form pulsing with each word. "It marks the beginning of a partnership crucial to both our species' survival." Aria found herself drawn to Theron's presence, not just diplomatically, but on a deeper level she couldn't quite explain. There was something in the way his energy field fluctuated when he addressed her directly, a gentleness that seemed at odds with his otherworldly nature. "You speak of survival," Aria noted, leading the delegation toward the Stellar Horizons conference room. "Are we facing some kind of threat?" Dr. Volkov followed closely, his handheld quantum scanner whirring as it analyzed their visitors. The readings it displayed made him pause mid-step. Incredible. Their molecular structure isn't fixed. They exist in a state of quantum superposition. A simplified explanation of our nature, another Zephyrian, introduced as Lyra, communicated. Our form shimmered with hints of violet and gold. But understanding what we are is less crucial than understanding what approaches. The conference room's holographic display activated as they entered, showing a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. Theron's form extended tendrils of energy that interfaced directly with the ship's systems, causing the display to zoom out dramatically, revealing something that made everyone's blood run cold. "We call it the Void Cascade," Theron explained, as the hologram showed a massive wave of nothingness, slowly consuming entire galaxy clusters. It's not merely the absence of matter and energy. It's the breakdown of reality itself. Arya watched the simulation with growing concern. How long? At its current rate of expansion, it will reach both our civilizations within 50 years. Lyra responded, but we believe together we might find a way to stop it. Theron's form shifted closer to Arya, his energy field harmonizing with the quantum frequencies of the ship's systems. Your species' breakthrough in quantum drive technology was not a coincidence, Captain Novak. We've been guiding your scientists through subtle quantum interactions, preparing humanity for this moment. You've been influencing our development. Lieutenant Petal asked, his voice carrying a note of suspicion. Not controlling, inspiring, Theron clarified. Your quantum drive design is purely human innovation. We merely highlighted certain possibilities within your quantum research data. Over the next several hours, the Zephyrians shared their knowledge of the Void Cascade. Dr. Volkov's excitement grew with each revelation, despite the dire nature of the threat. The phenomenon appeared to be feeding on the fundamental forces that held reality together, growing stronger with each galaxy it consumed. As the briefing concluded, Theron requested a private word with Arya. They stood before the viewport, watching the strange beauty of their ships joined together against the backdrop of distant stars. There's something I haven't shared with the others yet. Theron communicated, his form swirling with complex patterns that Arya was beginning to recognize as emotional expressions. The Void Cascade. It's not a natural phenomenon. We believe it's the result of an experiment conducted by an ancient civilization, one that sought to peer beyond the boundaries of our universe. Arya felt a chill run through her, and now it's unraveling everything. Yes, but your species' unique approach to quantum mechanics, combined with our understanding of cosmic engineering, might offer a solution. Theron's form brightened momentarily. There's a reason we chose your ship, your crew. You, Captain. Their conversation was interrupted by urgent calls from both their crews. The Void Cascade had accelerated unexpectedly, consuming an entire galaxy cluster in a matter of hours rather than the predicted decades. We don't have 50 years. Theron's voice carried an edge of fear that transcended species barriers. We have months, perhaps weeks. Arya quickly called an emergency meeting of both crews. As she watched humans and Zephyrians working side by side, analyzing data and proposing theories, she realized that the fate of everything, all of reality, might rest on this unprecedented collaboration. Lieutenant Wei discovered that the quantum resonance patterns of the Void Cascade matched certain frequencies in Zephyrian biology. Dr. Volkov theorized that this might be the key to understanding and potentially stopping it. We need to modify the quantum drive, Arya announced, her mind racing with possibilities. If we can match the cascade's frequency but reverse its phase, we could create a quantum barrier, Theron finished her thought, his form brightening with excitement. But the power requirements would be enormous, and any miscalculation could accelerate the cascade rather than stop it, Lyra added. As the teams began working on modifications to both ships, Arya found herself spending more time with Theron, learning about his species' history and sharing humanity's story. There was something profound in these exchanges. Two beings, so different in form, yet sharing the same fundamental desires. To explore, to understand, to protect what they held dear. The Void Cascade's acceleration had changed everything. What was supposed to be a gradual introduction between their species had become a desperate race against time. Yet in this crisis, Arya saw something remarkable. Humanity's first contact with an alien civilization had not led to conflict or fear, but to collaboration and hope. As she watched her crew working alongside the Zephyrians, Arya realized that this crisis might be the crucible in which the future of both their species would be forged. The question was, would they emerge stronger, or would the void cascade consume everything they sought to protect? The Stellar Horizons Quantum Lab had transformed into a nexus of feverish activity. Holographic equations floated in the air as Dr. Volkov and his Zephyrian counterparts worked to modify the ship's quantum drive. The air crackled with an invisible tension that had nothing to do with their experiments. "The quantum harmonics are still out of phase," Lieutenant Petal reported, his fingers dancing across multiple control interfaces. "If we push any harder, we risk a cascade failure in our own drive." Theron's form rippled with concern as he interfaced directly with the ship's systems. The barrier frequency must be perfect. Even a 0.001% deviation could create a tear in spacetime worse than the one we're trying to stop. Arya watched from the doorway, noting the increasing strain on both crews. 3 weeks had passed since their first contact, and the void cascade had already consumed 2 more galaxy clusters. Each lost galaxy represented billions of stars, countless worlds, and potentially numerous civilizations that would never be known. "Captain," Junwei's voice came urgently through the comm. "We're receiving a priority transmission for Earth. The quantum signals are. They're not good." In the communications center, the message from Earth Command played out with crystal clarity. Admiral Reeves, his holographic form stern and unyielding, delivered news that sent a chill through the room. "Captain Novak, our quantum observers have detected unusual energy patterns emanating from the Zephyrian vessel. Some of our scientists believe these patterns match theoretical models for quantum weapons. You are hereby ordered to disengage from the alien vessel and return to Earth immediately." Arya felt her stomach tighten. "Admiral, with all due respect, the Zephyrians are here to help us." The void cascade could be their creation. The Admiral cut in. "Think about it, Captain. They appear just as this phenomenon threatens us. They've admitted to influencing our technological development. This could be the prelude to an invasion." After the transmission ended, Arya found herself in her quarters, staring at the stars through her viewport. The Zephyrian ship's ethereal form reflected the distant starlight, creating patterns that seemed to dance across her ceiling. A soft pulse of energy announced Theron's arrival. "Your leaders fear us," he stated simply, his form dimmer than usual. "Fear of the unknown is deeply ingrained in human nature," Arya responded, turning to face him. "But so is the capacity to overcome that fear. There's something else you should know." Theron's form swirled with complex patterns that Arya had learned to recognize as deep distress. "Some among my own people believe this collaboration is a mistake. They argue that sharing our quantum technology with humans is too risky." The revelation hung between them like a physical barrier. Both their civilizations, facing extinction, were pulling away from each other just when unity was most crucial. A sudden alarm blared through both ships. In the quantum lab, one of the experimental quantum barriers had collapsed, creating a miniature version of the void cascade effect. Dr. Volkov and his team worked frantically to contain it. "The containment field is failing." Lyra's thoughts projected urgency as her energy form helped strengthen the quantum barriers. Arya and Theron rushed to the lab, arriving just as reality itself seemed to twist and blur around the failed experiment. Without hesitation, Theron's form expanded, enveloping the distortion in his own quantum field. "Theron, don't!" Arya shouted, understanding instinctively that he was putting himself at risk. "The containment must hold." Theron's thoughts came weakly as his form flickered and strained. Dr. Volkov's fingers flew across his console. "Captain, He's using his own quantum structure to stabilize the tier. But the energy drain, reroute power from the main drive. Arya commanded, everything we've got. The stellar horizon systems groaned as energy poured into the containment field. Slowly, the distortion began to shrink, until finally it collapsed in on itself and vanished. Theron's form collapsed, his usually bright energy patterns dim and erratic. Why? Arya asked softly as her medical team worked to help him stabilize. Why risk yourself? Theron's response came faintly. Because trust must begin somewhere. Your crew, your ship, would have been destroyed. The incident changed everything. Word spread through both crews about how Theron had risked his own existence to save the human ship. Meanwhile, data from the failed experiment provided crucial insights into the nature of the void cascade. It's not just consuming reality, Dr. Volkov explained during an emergency briefing. It's converting it into something else, a form of energy we can barely detect. Like a caterpillar entering a cocoon, Lyra added, her form shifting thoughtfully. But what emerges may not be compatible with our form of existence. As Arya prepared her response to Earth Command, she realized that the choice before her would define not just her own future, but potentially the future of all reality. The growing divide between their species had to be bridged, not just for the sake of stopping the void cascade, but because isolation and fear would doom them all. She found Theron in the observation deck, his form gradually regaining its former brilliance. Together, they watched as another distant galaxy winked out of existence, consumed by the advancing wall of nothingness. Your Admiral was right about one thing, Theron communicated softly. We did influence your development, but not to conquer, to prepare, because we saw in humanity something we lost long ago, the ability to imagine the impossible and make it real. Arya smiled slightly. And we need your wisdom and knowledge to guide that imagination. We're stronger together than apart. As if in response to their words, both ships' quantum drives pulsed in perfect harmony for the first time, creating a brief but perfect quantum barrier. The path forward was clear, but convincing both their peoples to take it would require something beyond technology or diplomacy. It would require faith in the possibility that two vastly different species could join together to save everything that ever was or would be. Arya stood before the combined crews of both ships, her decision made. We're not returning to Earth. Not yet. The void cascade must be stopped, with or without official approval. The quantum laboratory had become their last hope. Dr. Volkov and Lyra had discovered that the cascade's expansion followed a mathematical pattern similar to the quantum signatures of both human and Zephyrian consciousness. It's responding to awareness itself, Lyra explained, her form shimmering with excitement. The ancient civilization didn't just create a weapon. They created a tool to reshape reality according to conscious intent. The combined fleet pushed deeper into space, toward the heart of the cascade. Each ship now carried a modified quantum drive, synchronized to create a protective barrier around them. But the closer they got to the phenomenon's center, the more reality itself seemed to unravel. Stars began to move in impossible patterns. Time flowed differently in various parts of the ships. Crew members reported seeing alternate versions of themselves, glimpses of paths not taken. Through it all, the connection between Arya and Theron deepened. She began to understand the subtle variations in his energy patterns, the complex harmonics that made up his thoughts and emotions. He, in turn, learned to comprehend the intricate dance of human facial expressions and body language. There's a pattern here we're missing, Theron communicated during one of their strategy sessions. The cascade isn't just destroying, it's transforming. But into what? The answer came from an unexpected source. Lieutenant Wei, studying ancient transmission patterns, discovered that the Cascade's quantum signature matched the background radiation of the universe itself, but in reverse. It's not ending reality, she realized. It's rebooting it. The final push to the Cascade's heart tested every boundary of their existence. Reality twisted around them like a kaleidoscope gone mad. Only the combined power of their quantum drives kept them from being torn apart. In the end, it came down to a single moment. Their ships, hovering at the very edge of known space, faced the swirling vortex of nothingness that threatened to consume everything. The only way to stop it is to enter it, Theron realized, to guide its transformation with our combined consciousness. The plan was unprecedented. By merging their quantum drives and connecting them directly to both human and Zephyrian neural patterns, they might be able to reshape the Cascade's purpose. Instead of unmaking reality, Aria explained to her crew, we could direct it to expand it, to create rather than destroy. The procedure was dangerous. It would require both ships to drop their quantum barriers. More than that, it would require a level of trust and cooperation beyond anything either species had ever attempted. As the final preparations were made, Aria and Theron shared a moment in the space between their linked ships. Whatever happens, Theron's form pulsed with emotions that transcended physical form. Knowing your species, knowing you, has made my existence richer. We're not saying goodbye, Aria replied firmly. This is just the beginning. The merged consciousness of both crews flowed through the quantum network. Human determination and creativity combined with Zephyrian wisdom and understanding. At the heart of it all, Aria and Theron's shared connection acted as an anchor, a bridge between two ways of being. The Void Cascade responded. As their combined consciousness touched its core, they understood at last. The ancient civilization hadn't created a weapon. They'd created a door, a way to evolve reality itself. Through their joined awareness, they redirected the Cascade's purpose. Instead of consuming reality, it began to expand it. New possibilities, new dimensions, new ways of existing began to bloom in the wake of what had been destruction. The transformation rippled across the universe. Galaxies that had been consumed began to re-emerge, not as they were, but as they could be. The barrier between physical and quantum reality became permeable, allowing both humans and Zephyrians to explore existence in ways they never imagined possible. When it was over, both ships emerged into a changed universe. Earth's fears were forgotten in the wake of the incredible new frontier that opened before them. The Zephyrians' caution transformed into excitement at the possibilities of true collaboration with humanity. Aria and Theron stood together on the stellar horizon's observation deck, watching reality reshape itself into something greater than either of their species could have achieved alone. So, Aria smiled. What do we explore first? Theron's form brightened with joy and anticipation. Everything. The two ships, now permanently linked by their shared achievement, set course for the unknown. They had not just saved reality. They had transformed it, creating a new age of exploration and understanding that would last for eons to come. As they ventured forth, other species emerged from the transformed cosmos to join them. The universe had been reborn not through destruction, but through the simple yet profound power of two different species learning to trust, understand, and ultimately love one another. Their journey had only just begun.